Going live. Going live. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, wherever you are. Good late evening to those that are in the Eastern and Midwestern side. Um, I'm doing the Spiritual Progress Report. I already pre pulled a card, and Spirit actually led me to this deck. So I'm interested in knowing what comes out. Although I pre-pulled the card, I haven't processed yet because I wanted to do that with you all. But what I did pull was card number 41, and it says, pull yourself together. So I'm going to show this. Hold on, there's a glare on my other camera here. Sorry for this glare. But again, pull yourself together. Let's see. So this week, Spirit wants you to pay attention to the following. It says, "Oh, Mary, you are hot, a hot mess, that is. Your emotions are all over the place, and I'm not talking about your prolific use of emojis. Take some time today to ground yourself in meditation or deep breathing. A whole is only as strong as its parts. And right now, your emotional team has run amok. Pieces of you left in the pieces of you left in the ether. Let us just pluck them up and start piecing yourself together. When you are not whole, how can you give yourself to something or someone? Do you feel pulled in many directions and never enough to fulfill it all? Take a moment, press pause, and connect with yourself and with your inner spirit. When you find your center, you will realize that you can pull yourself together. Do the work because it is time to get yourself together." And on the reverse, it reads, "Aren't you the pillar of shit togetherness? Just You just got it all figured out, huh? Stop tamping everything down because, honey, you will lose it one day. I mean, we are all giving you full permission to let go. Give in to your emotions, even if it is to scream into your pillow, eat a tub of ice cream, or have a good cry. We aren't really worried about you wallowing since it seems so hard to give in to emotion in the first place." So basically, the energy of this week, Spirit wants you to focus in on your emotions. Spirit wants you to feel all of the feels, right? Don't try to mask up if you're hurting. No, that person didn't hurt my feelings. That person that no, Spirit wants you to recognize that person hurt your feelings. That person um disrupted your atmosphere, right? This disrupted your heart space, right? Acknowledge it. Go through the motion, go through that pain and get over it. That's the way to get over it, rather, is by actually feeling the feeling, because what happens when you feel through the emotions is that your mind goes to this place where it starts to recognize, how did this person hurt me? Who was the person that hurt me? How much time did I invest in this person that hurt me? And when you start to think of these things, your mind also goes into learning mode. And so you know how to move forward, you know how to move smarter, you know how to deal with this person. And then when someone that mirrors this person comes into your life, you already know how to navigate them. You know how to do, you know how we say swerve, the younger generation, we say swerve. So if we swerve somebody, we swerving them not just to swerve them, just for no reason. We're swerving them because we see something in them that mirrors this other person. And so right now we have to recognize that in order to learn these lessons, we have to go through the motions. We have to recognize when something has pained us, right? And to go back over, I do want to share because there is the difference between the reverse of this card. So no matter which one of you or which portion of this card you are going through, um spirit's either asking you, one, to meditate and ground yourself, stop acting irrational, stop doing irrational movements, like your mind is here and your mind is there, your mind is, it's spirit says settle down so I can talk to you, right? Because when you settle down, you get all of the information that you need. When it's the same thing as when a teacher is trying to teach a child that has ADHD, right? They always say, oh well, the child wasn't in his seat, or the child wasn't doing her homework. The child was always up and not paying attention, and so they weren't grasping the information, right? And so it's but the children that sat down and paid attention and was grounded and was ready to learn and was ready to receive that knowledge, they learn what they were supposed to learn, and they do the homework, they do the work, right? um, that is why the institution of schools is important, is to teach us um, life lessons, right? Because our life lessons teach us how to work and operate spiritually, when really the spiritual world has orchestrated these things to happen so that we will already know how to comprehend things that is happening in our spiritual world. So again, so get grounded. If you feel like you're everywhere right now, you just, if you have the impulse to do something, and the impulse is without thought or without thinking through, thoroughly thinking through it. It's a lot of T's there. Um, stop, stop, just stop yourself and see, why do I really want to do this? What is the driving force that is asking me at this time to do this thing, or to do that thing, right? You want to get to the root of it, because if it's something that you're running from, then that means you have to address it. Means you have to sit with that thing, and sit, as we say, sit with it, hold it, embrace it, and recognize it, address it, so that you can later turn around and forgive yourself for whatever that thing is. Because there's a little bit of guilt that we all hold when something, even when things have been done to us, we always hold on to guilt of some sort. Maybe I should have done this better. Maybe I should have done that better. Did I do everything? Um, True story, I was married at one point in my life. And that was the thing that held me together, because I said, I will not get a divorce. I'm going to fight for this marriage until the end, because I wanted to make sure that I did everything possible to save us before I gave in, that I fought, right? And so whenever you do that, in on the spiritual side, whenever you say, I want to get to the bottom of this thing, so that I want to try all my resources, right? I want to try all of the things before I just give up and give in. And that's what spirit wants you to do. It wants you to make sure that you stay grounded, and you get to the very root of it, so that you can heal that part of you. And then and again, you know, if you are on the opposite side, feel it, go through those things. Um and I usually say this for men, because some men just don't like to cry. It was That's something that we were taught as children, like, well, men don't cry, right? Well, men who don't cry have pent up stuff in them. Um, and I've said this before. I can't remember if it was on this channel or my other channel, honestly. But when you pent up something, just think about a bowel movement. You know you have to go. And I know that's not a pretty graphic, but it is what it is. You know you have to go, but instead of you going to the bathroom, you're like, nope, I'm gonna hold it. 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 And eventually your bowel is going to get to that point where it's going to be like, okay, you've been holding this way too long, and it's going to explode out. And hopefully you're not in a public place, because when it explodes out, you're going to be embarrassed. And that's what happens emotionally, and it'll come out. And sometimes it is in a public place, and sometimes people around you don't know what's going on, and so they're just like, okay, well, this person just had a bad day and they just exploded. They just went off on such and such, and cops are called. You're taken to prison, and now you're booked for having an episode of an explosion of something that you have been holding in and holding on to. And on the flip side, if it's not anger, if it's like a sadness or a depression, it explodes in a way where you literally lose yourself, and you don't even know where you are. So you may drink yourself to a slumber. You may find yourself at the edge of a building getting ready to jump, and somebody stops you, and you're just like, wait, what was I doing on the top of this building? um it's that same essence of whenever you drive. For those of you who drive, or for those of you, even if you don't drive, put it this way as well. If you know that you have a specific route, sometimes we mindlessly do that thing. We mindlessly drive, because if it's a familiar route, it's like something that we do every day, so it's literally within us to go this route. And so you'll mindlessly walk, not realizing what you're doing. And spirit's like, no, 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 no. I don't want you to hold it in. I want you to feel it. I want you to go through that. Because what happens is when you go through it, it relieves the pressure. And what we will equate that to is, if you have surgery, you got a broken bone, and you like, oh my gosh, my bone is sticking out my arm. Well, we need to do emergency surgery. Once we go in and relieve that pressure of the swelling and ice pack it, it goes down. The swelling starts to go down. Your bone may still be protruding out of your arm, but once they put it back in place, once they actually go in and fix the problem, actually go through the motions of healing the muscles that's around that bone, actually putting that bone back in place, putting the staples or the screws, whatever they need to, into that arm. Once they go back and put the stitches back in to sew your arm back into place, what happens is, yes, it's a little painful, but it's not as painful as it was. And then you go through that healing process. Like, you recognize, okay, yes, I recognize that this is a wound, but yes, I also know that I'm healing. And then it gets to the point when that healing is complete. You don't even recognize that, that pain anymore. You may still have a scar, but we call those beauty marks, right? Some of us do have scars on the outside, and some of us have scars on the inside. But what happens is that we become healed so much that whenever the person that gave us those scars, or if we're put into another situation again, like, we recognize how to navigate. But if it's the person that gave us those scars, we can be around them and not feel any type of way. It's like, yeah, I know you hurt me, right? I know you did this thing to me. I know you play with my mind. I know you play tricks with me, but I'm past that now. I'm healed. And so I know how to deal with you now. Or if you don't want to deal with them, you don't. That's your prerogative. You don't have to accept people in your space that you don't want in your space. If you know that you're still struggling with that person being a trigger for you, avoid them. Avoid the same spaces that they're in. Even if it's a spot that you went to first, and you introduced them to the spot, baby, there's going to always be a new spot for you. There's going to always be a welcome, you are welcome here spot. And we hold on to these things. Another thing is, while I'm on it, because spirit is really showing me things, stop holding on to things that people gave you that disrupted your life. If they disrupted your life and you still look at that teddy bear that they gave you 2 years ago, get rid of it. Because what you're doing is you're reminding yourself of this thing over and over and over again. You have to get rid of the things that remind you of people. So I don't know who that is for, but I definitely just picked that up. And again, I'm going to show you this card because, again, the focus here is your heart space. I know some people, the heart chakra, right? You want to make sure that you are taking care of that during this week. You want to make sure that you are massaging your heart, you are loving on yourself, you are doing the things that you love, you are surrounding yourself around people that actually love you, that pour into you. You want to do this at this time. And that is the progress report for this week. This is the thing that Spirit wants you to pay attention to. I am inclined to see what's at the bottom of this deck. It says blessing in disguise. And guess what, people? It's number 40. The card that came out was 41. Card on the bottom of the deck is 40. And it says blessing in disguise. So I'm going to read that to you. I really feel like I'm going to read this to you. Oh no. Did you just lose that toxic person your loved ones have been warning you about? Guess what that is? Amazing news. Or perhaps that dead end job sitting you packing? Hooray! Celebrate. Sometimes we cannot see an opportunity for what it truly is. Have you recently lost a job, been turned down for a gig, or bombed on a date? Then think of it as the universe removing something from your path so that it can send you what you truly deserve. Sometimes we become comfortable or feel unworthy, so we stay put, afraid to look for those blessings. Now is the time to think about what change you could benefit from that might feel a wee bit uncomfortable. We absolutely know it can be terrifying to walk away from a long time comfort zone, even if we were miserable there. We ask you to be fearless, be the hero of your own story. And on the reverse, because I think that is self explanatory, celebrate what you're losing. Celebrate the fact that this person walked out your life, or that whatever your situation is that got you. Spirit wants you to get grounded so you can see how and why you need to celebrate, because something is going to be replaced, something is going to be in its stead. And on the reverse of this, for those who need this, it says human pity party of one. Are you so stuck in misfortune or loss that you cannot see that this had to happen to make room for better things? Change can be scary or sometimes make you feel less worthy. But let's lighten the grip and just let go. What haunts you that you must live in this misfortune? It is time to acknowledge what was lost and open your heart to the blessings of the universe. After all, we are just about sold out of your pity party decorations here. And again, if you celebrate, you get yourself grounded, you're going to recognize the blessing of it all. When I often hear get these type of readings, so I'm trying to hide this light here. I'm going to have to tone it down. So let me change the setting. Let me do that. I often think about Beyonce song. She said, thank God I dodged the bullet. I can't think of the what is the best thing I never had, right? And it's like if you can celebrate whatever that shortcoming is, whatever that pain that happened, if you can learn to celebrate that pain, or celebrate the person that I'm not going to say celebrate the person that caused the pain, but celebrate the situation of the separation. Let me put it that way. Celebrate the situation of the separation from that person or that thing or that job or that place, right? Because what in turns, when you get the thing that is better, You're going to be like, had I been stuck with that person, had I been stuck with that thing, had I been stuck with that job, I probably not would have done this, that, and the third. And you'll know, you'll understand what this, that, and the third is when you get to that other side, when it is presented to you, when that blessing is standing you in front of your face, when that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is facing you, and you're just like, baby, I was worried about that 1976, or excuse me, that 1932 penny, and I got 10 barrels of gold, pure 100% gold in front of me. Oh, because they were only going to give me $5,000 for this penny. But with this gold, I'll have at least 20 grand here. you know, and it's like that. Ooh, it as I'm saying this, I kid you not, I'm seeing two game shows that I'm seeing The Price is Right, and the one with Let's Make a Deal. It's like that thing that if you bet the wrong way, you lose out on the opportunity. And it's like, whereas it's just like, but in this, you're not really betting. You already know what you need to let go. That's what I'm getting for some of you. You already know what you got to let go, and you're holding on because you feel like this is the end all be all. And Spirit is telling you, no, let it go so I can give you something bigger. Let it go so I can give you something bigger. So that is the progress report for this evening. I really did not intend this message to be this long, but here we are. So I hope that this sets the perfect pace and the perfect tone for your week. Let things go the proper way, ground yourself, and celebrate what's to come. Celebrate as if it's already here. Celebrate as if, you know, you already have it. There's a great gospel song that says it's already done, right? Whatever you've been praying for, whatever you've been hoping for, it's already done. That's the energy that you have to be in and think on. It's already done. So you all have a good night. Again, thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next um, Healing Room Tarot Spiritual Progress Report. Thank you.